Back duels against Pitt where you're able to keep the momentum in favor of the Mountaineers. Why do you think you raise to the occasions like you have every year?
I just have so much trust in my coaches and my teammates.
All right, Pitt.
I've been wrestling
in favor of...
Let's head back over to Jarrett.
Back-to-back duels against Pitt where you're able to keep the momentum in favor of the Mountaineers. Why do you think you raise to the occasions like you have every year?
I just have so much trust in my coaches and my teammates. I haven't been wrestling good, but my coaches just put so much trust in me and tell me how good I am. And I just trust them and keep working hard.
Jordan, thank you. Kyle, back to you.
All right, thanks very much there. Jarrett with the victorious Jordan Titus, a 3-1 win at 141 pounds. Here's Sam Hillegas and Kade Brown of Pitt at 149. And again, Tony, a very aggressive approach by the Pitt wrestler, but Hillegas with good defense.
Well, he does a nice job of getting in. I think it was pretty good defense by Hillegas, and that's sometimes where he's struggled a little bit, is people getting on his leg, being able to score, but he did a nice job of fighting that off, and I'd like to see him get to his own offense a little bit more. I'm sure the coaching staff would like to see that too.
Mountaineers leading 11-0, 3 consecutive wins to get things going.
There's a nice shot and does a nice job of getting to the corner, driving around the corner, and there's going to be a 3-point takedown.
Hillegas fought another one off and then aggressively went right back at Kade Brown and eventually scored.
Just a nice shot, and he did a nice job of adjusting to the attempts Brown was trying to make to counter it. It's pretty good wrestling.
I would like to know what the message was from head coach Tim Flynn after Wednesday as we watched the takedown again. Hillegas had been on defense there early in the period, but eventually scores.
Well, I think he does a nice job of continuing to drive. Like a lot of times what you'll see happen is people get in there and then they stop. But when you're looking at the success part and really working on the processing part, it's about continuing to move and continuing to keep pressure toward a certain spot. And he did a nice job of that, which has allowed him to get that takedown. What was the message?
Yeah.
I think they had to be happy with where they wrestled overall, but I know there were some places where they did not. They were giving up a...
We called stalemate, right, initially?
Well, they're calling a locking...
They call locked hands as soon as Brown finishes that shot and covers both legs. That's back-to-back duels now, where Sammy Hillegas then looks at the official and kind of says, like, hey, this is locked hands. Gets the call this time, but not 100% sure on the updated rules what the coaches over there were arguing on what that final decision is on the locked hands call.
Doesn't that make it 4-4?
Well, there's the escape right there that makes it 4-4.
But did he not get a point for the locking hands?
I think they may have called off the locked hands. Not quite sure why, though.
Brown's doing a nice job of continuing to shoot and getting to the knee pretty well and able to suck that up pretty good. This is a fight right here, trying to pick that up and get to the corner, and he sits Hillegas down. Going to try to jump over that corner and just take the leverage from Hillegas away, who's really going to try to roll him through for the most part. He's pretty close to scoring this 3-point takedown.
Yeah, there's plenty of time here.
That's probably going to be 3 right there.
So Brown in front after the takedown. Just took his time and finished it.
That's exactly right. He was in good position, didn't rush it, didn't panic. You know, and we talk about this stuff all the time. When in the wrestling room, when you're practicing, you got to get into these spaces and just kind of work your way through it and wrestle your way through a lot of these stuff. And especially in the styles that people have now, where there's a lot of rolls and a lot of stuff related to it, you have to get better in those positions. And Brown's been doing a pretty good job here in those 2 takedowns that he got so far.
So Brown again just worked at it, remained patient until he eventually scored.
You know, and obviously, like most things, when we're watching that front end of it, the the part about getting in and where the challenge is in the counter and how you're working the angles and working the corners is what gets you to that spot to be able to score there. But he's done a nice job. He's up 7-4. Hillegas going to take down here in the second.
Hillegas in the lineup at 149, and he's got a place here now, filling in for the injured Ty Waters. The program announcing earlier this week that Waters is out for the season, which is a blow to West Virginia, but an opportunity for Hillegas, who's right back to work here in the second.
Well, Brown really trying to work that shin whizzer and put all that weight down so it makes hard for Hillegas to pick up his foot. You can still hear the corners talking about you got to come up with it. You got to drive the corners, keep coming up, keep coming around, or you're going to get called for a stalemate, which is what happens.
7-5, the Brown lead over Hillegas as we're in the second. Pitt looking for its first win of the afternoon. The Mountaineers have dominated here early. We talked about Pitt's difficult schedule, but one thing to consider, Tony, and West Virginia's taken advantage of this. I mean, Pitt wrestled about 40 hours ago at home against Stanford. It was an emotional, very difficult conference matchup.
We're in a similar situation than before, and Hillegas tries to crack him down, doesn't really successfully do that, and now he's sort of holding on for dear life. Now he's stretched out. That is not a good position to be in. He's got the potential to give up the takedown. There's just some things that he's doing, like these little tiny things that help score or not score, and he let go of that, and it allows him to get up that three-point takedown.
10-5, the lead for Kade Brown of Pitt. He's going to cut him loose here with 30 seconds left in the second period.
Well, you mentioned about opportunities, but you can see that Hillegas is struggling a little bit with just confidence and being able to wrestle in certain positions. And this sport, man, it's brutal. There's nowhere to hide. You can't sub, you can't do any of that kind of stuff. And so if somebody's got an opportunity to exploit it, they're gonna go after you pretty hard.
And that's what Kade Brown has done here through 2 periods. Brown will take a 13-6 advantage into the third.
Brown wrestles a very similar style to that we see of Pitt and Finn Solomon, who he's actually filling in for today. And what you're going to see at 184 with Reese Heller, it's in-your-face, athletic, explosive wrestling. And the best way I could characterize it as for West Virginia is it's dangerous. It's dangerous to go up against kids like that who want to be in your face, want to be offensive, and they can scramble out of a lot of positions. And we're seeing that with Brown.
Does a nice job of kind of going left and then coming back, and there's another takedown.
Going to cut him loose immediately.
He's looking right now to make the major decision, or he's going to try to get himself a technical fall. He's got to feel pretty confident. He's scored about every takedown that he's shot, with the exception of the very first one.
Stalemate with 1:25 to go. Hillegas, a veteran guy in his 5th year, transferred from Virginia Tech. Trying to hang on here, down 16-7. The ride time right at 1 minute. Got that ankle again.
He's really struggling with that. His not keeping his feet moving, and Brown is really getting that nice low single, capturing that leg or that front knee, and really scoring easy points from there.
19-7 with just over a minute left. Hillegas in.
Well, he's got to score on this thing, right? He's probably all worried about all this twisting and turning and diving back through on his legs, but at the same time, you got to score. Try to trip that far side, kick him up. Nice job there. And it gets back to the backside, which is a little more helpful.
Final 30 seconds. Second attempt at the trip, and there's the three.
There's a three-point takedown. He's got to come up off of his legs.
Working that ride time point away, which is good. Final minute here, final few seconds, actually.
And there's going to be probably a reversal.
4, 3, 2, 1.
So the late points added there by Brown. And Brown's going to win it 21-11 over Sam Hillegas. And that's the first victory of the afternoon for the Pitt Panthers.
Well, and you know, it's going to be a major decision, but it could have been like a lot worse.
Pitt on the board. Mountaineers still leading this 11-4. And we'll be back.